While her head is on your chest, reach on over there and grab that booty.
Give away all the secrets, babe. This is about love, it's about heartbreak, and it's about hope.
We're here to help you find and keep the relationship you desire. Let's dive in. Today we're talking about physical touch. You've been a part of our first part series about quality time, and now we're on physical touch, coming from the 5 Love Languages by the book by Gary Chapman. So let's define what physical touch is. Physical touch is the ability to caress. Ooh, thank you, baby. To caress, to touch,
I'll show
to
you.
enlighten, and to make a deeper emotional connection to your person, your loved one, your spouse, by way of touching hands, hugging, any type of skin-on-skin contact that allows and conveys the communication of love through touch.
The love language of physical touch is the most important one, according to research done by me. But here's why. When you're in an exclusive committed relationship, you're saying that the two of you are the only people allowed to have that level of intimate contact and access to each other's bodies. The other love languages, yes, they're important in a romantic relationship, but you can get quality time with friends and family. You can receive gifts from friends and family. Friends and family can do access service for you. This intimate type of caressing and touching and holding and kissing and cuddling is reserved for that one person if you're in an exclusive committed relationship. So you're basically saying there's no one else in the world that can fill that cup for you. And that's why it is so important that you not only adequately, but generously and abundantly fill that aspect for each other in that sort of way.
Abundantly, we are born with the desire for physical touch. From the time that we are kids, we're babies. Like a baby starts crying, what do? You reach down, you pick it up. We never lose that. We grow a bit dependent, we grow a bit independent, and we are able to handle things as we mature, but that desire...
And in fact, babies will actually die if they're not physically held and touched. It's called failure to thrive, and they noted this in orphanages in other parts of the world where there was not enough nuns to take care of the babies, that these babies were being fed. They had a bottle propped up, so they were being physically taken care of, but they were failing to thrive because they weren't being physically touched. To your point of we don't outgrow that. It's always an innate need for the human body to be touched, caressed, loved, held.
So I think it's important that we recognize that this physical touch is very, very necessary. And some people don't do physical touch for certain reasons.
Let me add something else here. The other thing that's so important about physical touch is there are times when there's not the right words, or words can't express what you want to convey or say to somebody. If it's a really, really hard day, a 20-30 second hug will say so much more than you trying to find the right words, or maybe accidentally using the wrong words. There's so many times that physical extension can do way more in building a bridge and bringing unity and closeness than your words ever could, or than an act of service ever could.
And it's a very important part to the start of your day and the close of your day is how you connect with that person that you spend a lot of your time with. You get up and sometimes we have to learn this. I had to learn this, right? This is not something that you get up and you just get physical touch when you want to. You get physical touch by asking for it. You get physical touch by learning how to give it. You get physical touch by learning how to give it to that person, how they want it, and learning each other and what feeds their soul. I think you're here because you want to know about physical touch or the 5 love languages, but particularly physical touch. Let's talk about why it's probably not happening.
We were curious when we started exploring this topic, why are some people in sexless relationships or in relationships where they're not even holding hands or touching? And there's a lot of that going on.
And if you're not holding hands or touching, you're definitely not
doing other things. No, statistically, there's about 20% of people in sexless marriages. And physical touch is not all about sex. Actually, most of it is not about sex, but that is a part of it.
Now, if you've agreed, right, to not have sex, not have physical contact for a period, to dive deeper into a part of your relationship that matters, I don't think there's anything greater and deeper than being able to connect with someone on that intimate level of sex and physical contact. But there are times and periods where you really want to focus on other things. And unless you've agreed to say, this is but for a time and period that we're going to forego this, then you should be doing it.
Personal opinion, I think if it's less than once a week, there's probably a problem there. Unless there's physical, like health issues or those sorts of things. But if it's just a lack of connection or intention. So let's talk about the reasons why we're not being physical in our relationships. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah.
If you drop a comment, if you have experienced a lack of physical connection, why is that?
Please do drop it. We love to hear. And this is all about knowledge growing and helping each other to shed light on these things, but leaving you better than we found you. I believe that people definitely have a lack of physical touch in their relationship because of, one could be a discomfort, just a discomfort. It may spring from childhood. It may spring from a previous relationship. Like bringing things forward from an old relationship is a real thing. And you've got to be able to work your way through that. You got to be able to have the courage and the transparency, bravery to talk to the person in your relationship about those things. Not that you're focusing on those things, but I think it's important to just recognize that whatever's hindering you, that you bring it to the forefront. That is the quickest and best way for you to grow and get past it. Another reason why physical touch is not happening is probably because you're ashamed of your body, or you've been body shamed to a point to where you're not proud of how you look, and you are not what you used to be, so you are apprehensive to unclothe yourself in front of the person or let someone touch you because it's not what it used to be.
So some other reasons people might not be having contact is they're just not aware that their partner needs that, or not aware that they need it. Maybe too busy, so not being intentional about having time to connect or cuddle or just hold each other's hands.
I think being intentional, that's very key, where you can make sure that you are touching so many times per day. Nobody's keeping a list or anything, right? But just, when was the last time you touched your spouse or your girlfriend or your person? Just be mindful of making that contact.
Mm-hmm. Another thing is sometimes we focus on the wrong love language. We were reading a story of a woman who was so focused on acts of service, like keeping the house clean, taking care of the kids, cooking the dinners, doing the laundry, but she hadn't touched her husband in weeks. So it was focusing on the wrong love language and thinking she was doing everything, and why wasn't he happy in the marriage? So it's being aware of, like, sometimes you're putting all of your actions and activities into things that is not what the person really craves and needs.
And when these things aren't happening, if a person isn't being touched, your desire is to want to be touched, right? This is the largest organ on your body, right? Your skin. With a craving to be touched and desired, and somebody's not touching it for weeks on end. So they're gonna seek elsewhere. Ultimately, that's just a fact.
To my point earlier, if you're in an exclusive committed relationship and you're saying you're the only person with access to my body this level, and that person is not taking that privilege seriously, that's a privilege to give yourself to someone and say you're the only person that has access to me at this level. And if you're giving that to each other and then you're just being irresponsible with it, not taking care of it, it's going to be a very big temptation in this day and age to get that somewhere else.
And you should be honored to be the only person with that access. So as one person gives, another person should definitely be willing to receive. So other reasons why people may not be comfortable or may not be giving physical contact or physical touch is because of their upbringing. Sometimes a lot of what we deal with as children and how our parents raised us and how we were brought up has a lot to do with what our norm is and how we standardize things in our minds. So if you didn't have that growing up, it's hard for you to get into a space of that level of love, care, and intimacy with another person.
Or expressing it in that form.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so about words not being enough sometimes to restore connection the way physical touch can. Here's a challenge for you.
Challenge.
A challenge. And this is something that works for us too, is sometimes when we're in misalignment, say there's been a hard conversation.
I like misalignment.
Misalignment.
I like to call that high level discussion.
Yes. Or we feel a little disconnected. Sometimes one of us will just go up and sometimes use words, sometimes not use words, just either ask for a hug or just give each other a hug. And it can't just be like a squeeze and release. It's got to be like 20 seconds. 20 seconds minimum. It could be as long as a couple minutes, but that does something that words cannot do.
And you know when it's
feeling,
real. You know when it's real, and you know when it's authentic. So even in your quest to create this atmosphere for physical touch, the person knows when it's authentic and when it's not.
So my challenge to you, the next time you are having a misalignment with your partner, just take a deep breath and go and either ask for a hug or give a hug, and make sure it's no less than 20 seconds, and you will feel something change in your body. You will feel something change in your heart. And some of this is the connection we feel when we're hugging and we're heart to heart. We're actually transmitting energy. And some of it is actually physiological. When you give someone a hug for longer than 20 seconds, your body releases oxytocin. And that is a bonding hormone, and it actually will change your physiology and help you to feel a deeper connection with your partner. So the challenge to you, next time you have something that doesn't feel good between you, it's gonna feel hard, it's gonna feel awkward, it's gonna feel scary, but just go up and either ask for a hug or give a hug, and just settle into that for a minimum of 20 seconds and see what happens to your level of connection.
You can do it. You can do it. And look them in the eye too. Don't be giving a hug looking all around.
Or hug them so tight that you can't see their eyes.
Well, I meant when you release them.
Because I like to go up in here. I can't see you when I'm in here. Okay, so what do you do if you want to increase the level of physical connection in your relationship, or if you're not getting as much as you need? I think the number one thing is awareness. Anytime you can be aware of what your needs are and know how to communicate that, you're already leaps and bounds ahead. And just being aware, just by listening to this, focusing on it, you're going to start thinking of ways like, oh, maybe I could hold their hand right now. Or maybe I could stand a little closer or turn on the TV. Maybe I can put my hand on his or her leg, right? Awareness is the number one step to just start to say, I want more of this. And now I'm going to start to focus on getting more of it.
Right, and I say get out of your own head. Being humble doesn't work nearly as best as being aware. Your humility may be, well, I don't think he likes this, or I don't think she likes this, right? You're in your own head analyzing things that you haven't even asked the other person about. You got to open up and communicate about those things. And sometimes that can be uncomfortable, but beyond communicating is the ultimate act of action. So when you're in this bed, right, and you're laying there, and you know, it could go both ways. Ladies, you could roll over and just put your head on his chest, and that man will absolutely adore you for putting your head on his chest. I love it. And then I would also say, men, like, roll over and put your head on that woman's chest. It is a beautiful, soft place to land. I guarantee you. She'll love it. You'll love it. Everybody in the kingdom will be happy. While her head is on your chest, reach on over there and grab that booty.
Give away all the secrets, babe.
I know we're supposed to be talking about little touches, so hugs for sure. You can hold hands. Hold hands in public. That's okay. You have full permission to do that. Give a foot massage. Your person may not even have a standing job. They may have a sit-down job. Exaggerate it to no end. Just exaggerate it and say, you know, I know you've been on your feet all day, and just take those shoes off and just massage those feet, even though they've been sitting down.
I know you've been on your ass all day. Roll over, babe.
Massage those feet, right? I mean, just a little bit of TLC goes a long ways. A back rub, it's always good. And if you don't know how to do a back rub or a foot massage, just try. I mean,
YouTube.
Yeah. And I think you'll at least get an A for effort. And while you're sitting down watching that electronic, screen that takes up so many people's time, called the TV, you just cuddle up a little bit, get a nice little drink, say, hey, what can I bring you? What can I get you? Say, look, prop yourself up, put your feet on my lap, I got you.
I coached a couple one time who, when they watched TV, they wouldn't even sit on separate couches, like not even on different ends of the same couch, separate couches. So like we worked on just like, hey, can we sit beside each other? Like that's a step towards each other, because he was craving physical touch. He wanted to be touched. And that was something that it was a small thing, but it's the small things. We're talking about small touches, like, yeah, hugs, massages, holding hands, those things. But it's even like if you pass each other in the kitchen, it's just like a little rub on the back or the arm or the butt. Booty. If you're driving, you just put your hand on their leg. It's little tiny touches like that create moments all day long of physical connection.
Yeah, and that moments all day long of physical connection, that is a warm-up, right? It's a warm-up of the foreplay that you may need to get to where you're trying to get to. You can't just touch somebody and think they're ready. You gotta touch, touch, touch. Maybe another video.
That's another video.
But do that through the day, see where it gets you. Glory land. Speaking of glory land, let's talk about sex.
So these are little touches, little things you can do throughout the day that don't take any extra time. They're just being aware, first of all, and then just making little efforts to get little physical connections and ways to communicate your care, affection, and love for that person. But obviously there are much more intentional, time-consuming, and deeper ways of creating this physical intimacy, and sex is probably the deepest form of physical intimacy that you can experience in a relationship.
I think it is. I said this earlier. It is the skin is the largest organ on the body, and when you're in a sexual activity, so much of your skin is connecting. Your eyes are connecting. Your hearts are connected, and if you're on the right level, your souls are one. Right? You're connecting at the soul level, at the heart level. So. Being able to lead into that space of touch is very, very important. We were just talking about small touches. Now, these are large touches. We're talking full body massages. Nobody's going anywhere. You don't have to rush anything. Take your sweet time and go from head to toe. Right? I'm not going to tell you verbatim what to do, but it is appreciated when you take your time with a beautiful, fine woman. And just take your time and touch her everywhere where she needs to be touched, or him.
Sweet.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Meet that need of that physical touch.
Sex, as far as a form of physical/emotional connection, is, we could do a series of videos, and probably will, about all the ways that this could be enhanced, because we are seeing so many more marriages that are not having sex, or having sex less than once a week, which, in my opinion, that's just starting to become infrequent and not what most men and women who are physically healthy and within the ages of 18 to 50, 60 should be experiencing.
Especially that there's no good reason, if you are physically fit and you are not handicapped and you both have functional organs, why you should not be fulfilling each other to the highest level sexually. There's no good reason.
Other than issues in other areas of the relationship. Physical expression of love is, in my opinion, again, the most important love languages, and something that you can easily do once you start doing and you feel how good it is. It's a self-rewarding system. Like I said, any sort of touch that lasts longer than 20 seconds releases these beautiful hormones throughout your body, these beautiful chemical reactions, and it makes you feel good. It makes your partner feel good at the same time. So strongly encourage you to take some of these tips if you have not been experiencing the level that you want, need, or desire in your relationship. A whole other video is communicating this, because so many people aren't talking about sex in their relationships. It's so sensitive, it's so intimate. They're afraid to say the wrong thing. They're afraid to express their needs or desires. That's a whole other topic we'll do for you.
Yeah.
But for today, your challenge is to just practice it more.
We do appreciate you tuning in for the physical touch part of the 5 love languages. We will go on to the next one, which will probably be acts of service next. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Tune in. Look at this physical touch. You got me stuttering. Subscribe. Tune in. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the next video. So let's define what quality time is. In my opinion,
quality time. Physical touch.
So dads, get out there, just a side note, but get out there, play with your kids. Don't be like, hey, you better not be back there in that toilet. All right.
Toilet?
I just do that in there. Like, this is not. That's how dads babysit.
Oh, I see.
What will we talk about next?